As actors, we get to rely on scripts to tell us what to do.
Like when to slap someone across the face and when to let someone slap you.
But we don't need a script to tell us to help someone in need.
The SAG Foundation was founded to do just that, to help performers with life's unscripted moments and to give back to our communities.
Over the past decade, the SAG Foundation has given millions in financial and medical assistance to SAG-AFTRA performers and their families.
Last year, more than 25,000 union performers attended over 500 SAG Foundation Q&As, seminars, and workshops.
And SAG Foundation Book Pals read to over 60,000 children in schools every month nationwide.
Do you know how much SAG-AFTRA members pay for all these resources and programs? Zero.
Zero.
Zilch.
Nada.
Do you know how much of our union dues go to the SAG Foundation? Zero.
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 The SAG Foundation is a nonprofit that relies solely on donations, so it is vital that those who are able to help give what they can.
And you've been giving since the SAG Foundation was founded in 1985.
I love 1985.
Out of Africa.
The Color Purple. The Goonies.
The Cosby Show.
Family Ties.
The Golden Girls.
What?
So many truly fantastic performances since then.
We have a wonderful history and a beautiful tradition of being there for one another. If you need help, it's here for you.
And if you can help, please give.
Like every great production, we are at our best when we all act
Together.
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 So please, act now.
How fun was that? That was fun. So, again, my name is Dennis Baker. I'm the Life Raft Program Director. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for everyone that's watching the live stream. A couple more announcements. We are trying to be social media conscious, which means we are on things like Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/SAG Foundation. Same thing for Twitter, twitter.com/SAG Foundation. What I say about those is those are great to like and follow because, as you know, when the email goes out for events, things fill up quickly. So sometimes we'll post things on Twitter and Facebook saying, hey, the event's live on the website. Before the email goes out, go ahead and sign up. Know this too, if you bookmark the page, most of the time before the email goes out, the event is live on the website. So sometimes you can sign up before that email goes out and things fill up quickly. So that's a little heads up for you guys. The last thing is youtube.com/SAG Foundation. There's where we live stream and archive almost all of Life Raft events, and there's over 2.5 years of educational information free for you and anybody that wants to watch. So if you heard something that you didn't get to write down and want to go back and check, that's a place to do so. It'll either be up tonight or first thing tomorrow. And also go back, see what's in the archive. There's so much great information to help you out. Sometimes, for example, we won't do a tax panel this year because we did tax panels last year. So if you need some help on taxes, go check that out, get that information to empower you to do the best that you can do. Make sense? Is that cool? Please, we ask that you share that. We're a small group and we want to get that information out to everyone nationwide. So last thing we're going to say is we are a nonprofit. Grants and donations is how we function. So when you do have an opportunity to give $5 here, $10 there, there's a box to do so or online the donate button because every bit of money that comes from you goes back for more events, financial assistance, things like that. So if you do need help, there's places we can help you with. Give us a call if there's financial assistance you need. We can help you with that. Great event tonight. We have an awesome panel. I'm excited for everyone that's going to be here. And we have a first-time moderator that I am so excited that she said yes. Her name's Lauren Donoghue. She is a staff member here at the foundation. I'm going to have her come up as well as the panelists.
Hi. Glad he had to tell you all I'm a first-timer. Right. So if I bomb, you'll all clap for me anyway. So we're doing headshots tonight because it is such a large conversation. We are going to be focusing on specifically what can be measured to determine what is a professional headshot. And I'm going to let the panelists introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Joanna DeGeneres. I'm a photographer. I started as an actor. I have my MFA from the University of Washington in Seattle. I moved to Los Angeles in 2002 and picked a camera up in about 2003. I worked in a casting office for a little while I started doing headshots, and I sort of came here looking for something else to do other than acting, and I found it really fast. So I love it. I think headshots can be really empowering for actors. I think if they're done well, they're an amazing tool. And I love what I do. I love working with actors every day. I use my skills as an actor to work with actors in front of the camera, and then I use my skills working in a casting office for what I like the look of a headshot. And I have an art background. I was a BFA art major, so I use my skills in light and color and in art to create a composition that balances, that says the right thing, and that's kind of my approach to, it's all inclusive, my approach to headshots. So.
Thank you. I'm Chris Game, and I've been a casting director for 16 years. I've been an acting coach for the last 14 years. I've taught over 2,000 students. I cast features, and I cast so many commercials I couldn't possibly count them or see them all. Music videos. I'm also a founding member of the Elephant Theater Company, which is going into its 18th year in a town that doesn't even want theater, so that's a pretty good accomplishment. Yeah, I think that. I do teach as well, and I love teaching, and I'll tell you this, you take my class, and in the first 40 minutes of the first class you take with me, I will change the way you audition for the rest of your life. I frickin' promise you that. And if you don't buy it in the first 20 minutes, you can walk out the door and I'll throw money at you as you leave. I love what I do. I love being a casting director, and I love giving jobs to actors, but especially I love helping actors get jobs. All right, that's it.
My name is Peter Konerko. I'm a photographer. I started about 12 years ago shooting. I went to Cal Arts 94, 97 and got an MFA actually in acting, but I never really wanted to be an actor. I just wanted to go to that school, and the only way I could get in was to audition to get in, which is really backwards. And I auditioned, I got in, and my friends were like, just follow the signs, keep following that. And so, but I really wanted to be a photographer, so I thought I'd have time to study photography, but I didn't. So I got out, and I was kicking around a little bit, and I was directing, and then I actually moved to New York with my girlfriend, who's now my wife, and we have a 6-year-old daughter, so it worked out, which is great. And I actually started shooting in New York, and the funny thing is that when I was there, everything was black and white headshots still, and here it was color. And so I was one of the first people in New York to shoot color, and I was an outcast, like you would not believe. And you know, I loved black and white photography. I could just kind of see where it was going because New York is behind LA a bit. So I was shooting there. I was there for about 6 years, moved back to LA, and now I fly back and forth and do both New York and LA. And I'm very happy here, and I like what I do. And headshots is a great job. It's just a good job. And I love shooting my portrait work and trees. So, you know, like just love shooting non-people stuff too. So that's what I like to do, but I really do love it. It's a beautiful art form, and you should all buy a camera and shoot. It's amazing. You can't do headshots because it's hard.
Have you ever had a panel of trees?
Headshots are
like,
so hard.
with questions. Yeah.
So I recommend it for everyone to shoot something. I'm Peter Konerko. You're welcome.
I'm Rob Mainord. I've been a headshot photographer in LA for over 15 years now. I'm also an actor. I moved here to go to USC Film School and stayed. I love being able to do both and bring some of my acting work to the headshot business to help direct actors and to help them kind of capture what they need to do. I also had a 9-year stint working at a talent agency, so I had a lot of years looking at a screen full of headshots all day long, so I feel like that's been really helpful in this business as well. I do a lot of commercials and love working with actors and kind of capturing what they do best.
Hi, I'm Lindsey Weissmueller. I work with Nancy Nayor at Nancy Nayor Casting. I have worked in casting for 7 years. I love it. I moved out here from Florida about 7 years ago to pursue this, and I have always had a sort of strong opinion about headshots. There are ones that jump out of you, and there are ones that jump out at you, and there are ones that don't. And it's what we're here to talk about today, I guess, and try to put that jump out factor into something that maybe we can all sort of try to strive for. I'm glad I went last because I was going to say a lot of personal things.
I like bubble baths at Vonnegut's.
So some of those things are just a couple. I won't go into it, but I am a Florida Gator. I'm from Florida, and I have a greyhound named Stanley and a wonderful husband at home.
And that's our panel. Thank you guys again for being here. So to start with the photographers, casting directors, you can jump in as well. What does an actor bring with them to a successful session in regards to their type? So the actor's already done some research, they've already chosen a photographer. Do you like them to come with adjectives, character examples? Is it the wardrobe? What do you like to see an actor bring with them?
For me, it's wardrobe first. And I think the biggest mistake actors make is they don't look at what people are wearing on television. They don't look at other headshots. So they are not specific. And I was thinking about it when we were watching the SAG promo of all those actors and how they were all dressed so right for who they all are and who we know them to be as actors. And I actually thought their wardrobe was awesome. And I was like, I wish that actors paid attention to that sort of thing, like how you kind of define yourself. And I have an actor that will show up for their headshots looking adorable, like say a little beanie and a jean jacket and a little thing. And then they pull out their clothes and it's like 4 t-shirts, a purple one, a green one, a blue one, and a black one. And I'm like, but you're so cute. Like, where's that girl here? And so I think I want you to come with, like, knowing who you are in your world and like how you live in your clothes, and then paying attention to the type of characters that you play, what they wear on television, and kind of merging those things so that you fit in that world too. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I like, once you have your type and your character, I think it's important also to think of yourself like what type of lawyer would you be? Because I get too many generalizations from agents and managers. I just need a lawyer type, and that doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't mean anything to the actor. Like really, who would you be if you were a lawyer, if you were a nurse, if you were a mom, if you were someone riding the subway, the best friend? Who would you be if you were a politician or you're Republican, Democrat? It just gives you a sense as an actor, I think, to go deeper. So when you're shooting, you're not thinking about what am I playing. You actually, and I can also direct you because I know what to tie onto. Also, clothing. Once you have those types, take a picture of yourself with your phone and just cover your face and just look at the clothes and just say to yourself, what is that communicating? What are we all communicating by sitting here, right?
Yeah,
so,
it's so true, like how we're all dressed.
Yeah, like
so
what are we, like you can kind of get an idea, that guy's, So it's kind of like...
I'm typing all of you,
totally,
that's my job.
You're
you
so
guys,
artsy,
these
Peter.
guys, right?
So I think that's important to cover your face because you just have to know what it's communicating. Even if it's just a tank top, that's fine. It communicates something. Those are the two things I think latch on to type, but also who would you be as that character, and then also look at your wardrobe and what that communicates without the expression.
Yeah, I think in terms of character, to me it's the most important part of preparing for a headshot session. You've got to be able to know who you are and what you play. And if you can't talk about the wardrobe that you brought, or you can't talk about this particular character and where they would be on television, then look for another character. Yeah, if you have a specific character that you're trying to shoot, like just a generic lawyer, it's got to be deeper than that. It's got to be something that you can actually talk about how you fit into that world and how you would dress as that person.
If an actor, would you prefer that they show up with like their entire wardrobe?
No.
And help them through that
Absolutely
process?
not.
Or is it, so would you like to meet with, would you talk to them beforehand? Do you advise them at all, or do you brainstorm with them before they show up for a session, especially if it's, if they haven't done headshots before?
I have a form, I have like a basically information form that I've kind of pieced together with over the shoots I've had, and I probably have to revise a little. I've been sending it for a while, but once they book a session with me, I send that, and it just goes over kind of types and clothing and what sort of works and sort of doesn't, and then it has that thing in there that's like, but maybe if you love it, bring it. Like, it doesn't mean it's always wrong, you know, and sometimes the all wrong headshot is amazing, and somebody has that photo, and it's like, I know, no one says, people say don't wear white, but this is the best photo ever, and I'm so simple, but it's something else. There's like, we caught a spark, or there was a moment, and you transcend whatever. It's like, it's clear, we love you in this photo, and it's not, it breaks all the rules, you know. So I don't like the whole wardrobe, but most people do show up with a lot of clothes. Lauren.
It makes it harder, actually, for us. I used to meet with everyone before a session. Now I don't meet. I usually talk on the phone, unless they're like, I have a cancellation the next day and someone jumps in right away when they call that day. I can't really talk to them. I try to talk to everyone on the phone just because it actually makes it easier for me, too. Shooting headshots is not easy. And a lot of people here just pick up a camera and they shoot it, and they're awful, and it's hard. It's a very difficult form of photography because you're shooting someone to market them as something else to an industry. It's really not about them necessarily. It's about using that to market. So the wardrobe, I find that if you can fine tune and work from the inside out and have your types and look at your clothing and then choose maybe 2 outfits per look. If you're doing a 4-look session, come in with 8 different options. You know, don't move in with all your stuff, because what happens is that it gets unfocused, and it can't just be like, isn't this blue great? And it can be a great blue, but who is it and what is it? And what's really hard is that when you do a consultation and you talk to someone on the phone or you meet with someone and you talk about all these things and you get specific and then they still bring everything, I almost want to pick things out of there that I like, that I know are going to be awesome, but are so against maybe what they're going for, just because they didn't prepare. It doesn't do you any good. Like, you have all this time to prep. You have weeks to prep for your shoot. Prep, and then come in and collaborate, because that's what I expect. I want to collaborate. So the answer is, don't bring a lot of stuff. Bring the right stuff, if that makes sense.
If you show up with a lot of stuff, I tend to find it's that unfocused idea, and you probably don't have a great grasp of character and who you play, and the most successful shoots are going to come with that kind of preparation, and they won't need to bring a whole wardrobe of clothes. That said, I always have a long conversation with somebody over the phone about all the different characters and try to kind of hone that in, and then tell them to throw in a couple of extra shirts, like bring the same thing that Peter said, like bring a couple wardrobe choices per look, but then bring 1 or 2 things that might be outside the box that you love, feel great in, could be unusual, and maybe we'll find a place for it.
Do you have any thoughts on textures and patterns? And Chris and Lindsey, when you're looking at photos, is that something that you notice, or do you feel it can enhance whether it's specifically a type?
Absolutely, and you know, Peter talked about this. Like, I began in, you know, if this was 10 years ago, your first question would be color or black and white. You know, when I began, it was black and white, okay? And I also want to address this beautiful point he made about when he started taking color photographs, everybody thought he was crazy. I want to address his website in a moment, because number one, all of these photographers are incredibly talented, okay? And and I looked at all the websites are good. There's so many favorites of people that I pick and stuff like that, okay? But I have a very stock opinion of what I want in a headshot, okay? And I'm going to give you the exact reason, okay? Number one, I want a real background in soft focus. Okay, now trends come and go, right? But a real background in soft focus is what you look like on television. And you know what? When you work for advertising and stuff like that in commercials, these people do not have any imagination. So please do not make them use it, okay? And I have this belief that the clothing and the backdrop should be a marriage to get you on the program that you want, okay? Guys, we are all whores, right? I'm a whore. I want any job, but you know what? I won't go looking for any job. Stop shooting us with a shotgun. Shoot us like a sniper, okay? What do you want to be on? Is it Mad Men? Go after that. Is it Newsroom? Is it Big Bang? Okay, so colors and textures, as far as advertising and stuff like that, pay attention to the product. If, like, I cast a student in a Wendy's commercial, okay? Now, what are the colors that they tell you not to wear? Red, white, and black, right? That's what I heard. You know when you weren't supposed to wear those? Back when Full House was on television. You know when you weren't supposed to wear those? You weren't supposed to wear those before we had black presidents. You weren't supposed to wear those back when our Blockbuster videos weren't weed stores. We've had digital photography for a decade and a half, and red reads wonderfully. It used to bleed in casting, and it no longer does. Okay? White, if you're a dark-complected person, might be a bounce card for you in casting, where it used to look like a fluffy cloud. Okay? Black used to drown everything out, and now it's completely favorable for everybody that's not dark-complected. Okay? So, and colors, is, you know, as far as products and things like that match, but I'll let Lindsey take it from there.
I'm going to say something a little bit different. I really like simple headshots. This is totally my personal preference, and we were talking about earlier that we're all going to tell you different things at times, and I really like a headshot that is simple. I like artistic headshots, ones that have, they don't have to look, to me, they don't have to look like you're on television or anything like that. Just something that tells me a little bit about you and who you are. And if it means that you're in a headshot and you're in a smiling, candid moment, that's one look. And if it's a headshot where you want to do something that's a little more, it's a little deeper, that could be another look for you. And I like things that are simple colors, simple backgrounds, very plain. Those are the ones that just let me tune everything out and focus on what you're doing in the picture. And there are people who have amazing headshots, very interesting, intricate headshots, and they're not interesting people. And then there are people who don't have good headshots, and they're beautiful in person or just so interesting in person. So it's not always going to tell me who you are or that much about you, but it's definitely going to catch my attention. And that's really what you're going for in a headshot, because you've ultimately got to back it up with yourself in person. But that's the kind of headshot that tends to appeal to me, that being for a leading type role. If you're going for something that's every day, then I do tend to like headshots that are simple, but I know, like, not very much makeup, not very much background, just a regular outfit that do sort of put you in an environment where I might see you in a role. Doesn't have to be very specific, but overall, just like things that are simple and plain.
So I love that there's like two casting directors, and they both like completely different things like simple versus environment. And I think that comes up every day with shooting people. Like, was something the actor really wants or likes or sees for themselves. There's what their agent wants. I shoot for like 20 agents and managers, and they all have different preferences. They like one thing, not the other, and they'll come. So just, it's your job as an actor to know who your audience is for your things. Like, this will make my agent happy, and it makes me happy, and it serves. And as far as the texture and the pattern, I like that stuff. I like patterns, I like textures, I like the photo to have life and feel like it's like you're standing right there and I can go like that, and that's what I want to do when I see a good headshot. And I think it always works as long as the photo is shot properly with the right balance of person to background to shirt. Like, if you're wearing something super patterned and we just see a little of it but we get the sense of it, then that's perfect. But if it's all shirt or all, you know, crazy background and you're kind of disappearing in it, or, I mean, then it's like, it's not a good headshot. It's not serving you in any way. It's about your clothes. It's about the background. As long as it's about you, then it's a great headshot. And it doesn't even, it can be simpler or it can be more specific, but those can both be really bad things or really good things depending on how it's shot and it's lit, and you're lit cleanly and well and sparkly.
Also, I just want to make a distinction. What just happened here is fantastic. And I always say to all my classes, don't guru worship and don't take anything I say as dogma. Anything I'm going to tell you is going to be shot through my prism of experience. And I did say prism, not prison. That's a whole different SAG evening. But the point is that, you know, have you ever cast a commercial?
One,
you know, where I've done like 1,000. And she's doing more story-driven things. I've done 5 features. I'm on my 6th and 7th right now, okay? So we're coming from different worlds of casting. And the only way that you could suss it out is find us in a workshop so you can find out our prejudices. And I'll tell you my exact reason for the real backdrop and soft focus. Not only does it look like television, but nowadays you guys are a pixel this big on a screen of 100, sometimes 2,000 to 5,000 submissions. So just that 3D effect has you flying out at me. Where when I used to hold them in my hand, white was wonderful because it was just you. It was like a Warhol thing or a, you know, a Helmut Newton or something like that, you know. But now I need it to fly out at me. So, anyways.
So backgrounds come up a lot, and I think that's a component an actor doesn't necessarily think about. Do you like an actor to be involved in that decision, or would you prefer they trust you as photographers? And is there something else that's in right now? Or what might change your indoor-outdoor?
It depends. I think the background has to match the intention and what you're going for. It doesn't make sense to put someone in a suit in front of a tree. You know, it doesn't make sense. So I think it's important to love trees.
I agree.
God, I love trees. So I think it has to communicate something. I think that starts with the, you know, finding out what the actor is going for, and then once you find out what they're going for, the clothes build in, and then the background builds in, and then your light builds in too. Because I'm not going to shoot someone for a 1 hour independent film feature stuff in sitcom lighting, but I'll do their sitcom or their comedy commercial shot in that kind of poppier, brighter look. And so the clothing's also very different too. And it's also, in my opinion, for that stuff, cleaner backgrounds. Commercial can be cleaner at times. It depends on the person. And that's, I think, really important too. Just like we all have different opinions, right? Same way with the actors. Everyone's different. And so someone might come in and they need their Zooey Deschanel shot, which was so hot last year. Mm-hmm. You would shoot 2 women who wanted the same thing on different backgrounds and different clothing, but their intention would be the same because their hair color is different. So the background would be different. So as long as the intention, the clothing, the background, the light, all of that is communicating your objective, then it works.
Yeah, it's got to match with the character that you're going for. But I think it was Joanna that said, you know, we work for a lot of different agencies, and I have a lot of agents that are very particular about, we like just this solid thing, or just outdoor stuff, or we need this, and you're catering to them as well as an actor. You've got to make your agent happy, and so yeah, it's a back and forth communication and dialogue about like, let's make sure that this character is in front of this, and your agent Jennifer really likes these backgrounds. She's not a big fan of that alley, so we're not going to shoot that, or maybe your other manager is, and we'll kind of make it all work there.
Well, but what do you do if you have a relationship with the agent, right? The agent sends you an email, no wood behind them, right? And the actor hired you because they love that look and they want that. They're the one paying you, right? So what do? We shoot the wood. Because at the end of the day, it's the actor's career, and the actor needs to go back to the agent and say, I want this, and this is how I see myself. Now, that's a relationship issue, but for us, I always go to the actor first, not because they're writing the check, but because I feel as though it's empowering for the actor to take control of that situation and convince their agent that that's who they are and that's who they want to be. And if the agent's not happy about it, then the agent's repping the wrong person. So just feel strongly to have that opinion when you come in, I guess. I don't know why I brought that up, but I thought it was important to bring up at that moment.
I like it. Lindsay, did you read?
And I think we were talking about earlier how you have your agent that you need to please, and all these different casting directors who've told you all these different things about what they want. And at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you feel like you're getting something across that you want to get across, because you're the one who's going to see that headshot more than anybody. You're going to look at it day and night, maybe your mother, but you're the one who has to be the most happy with it. And there are people who perhaps will inform you through their experiences and the lenses of their experiences, but you have to be happy with it, know what you want, and you're the one who needs to be the most pleased with it.
I'll usually tell actors, like, put online, choose the photos your agent or manager picks. Give them what they want to submit you. They're seeing the breakdown. They know what they're selling. They get it. Let them choose. But if there's a photo you love in front of the wood, then print that photo. And when you walk in somewhere, when you have a casting workshop or you have an audition and you get to take a headshot in, take that one that makes you go, I'm so happy to hand this to you. This is me. I'm really proud of this. And so that you go really confident with that photo. They don't need to see, they'll never see that photo that you're handing, but they have what they need for their tools. And then you have the thing that you just feel like really is you and works. And then you get to have the wood and have that photo, and they get to have what they want.
Love having wood.
We love wood.
And also, I want to add, you're the one who brought up the trees. Now, I also want to add, feel free to break rules. Guys, you are artists, okay? And looking at their websites, and I have the photographer that I love because I'm an actor, cut me and you will see actor blood, okay? I'm not allowed to mention her name, but you can see me afterwards and get a hug, and I'll tell you. But anyways, looking at Peter's site, okay? Man, oh man. Peter, you are an artist, and I'm going to go ahead and call Peter an iconoclast. Now, an iconoclast is someone who shatters the mold. Go ahead and look up in the dictionary, and you'll find John Cassavetes' face, okay? Now, I'm looking at his site, and I'm like, I don't see a headshot in the bunch, and every shot is incredible. I'm looking at his site, and I go, we need to talk about Tom Waits and Charles Bukowski for a little bit while Lou Reed's playing, right? I don't see a headshot in his bunch, and I want to call in every single human he's taken a picture of. I don't know what he's on to, or what he's on, or whatever. It looks like Anton Corbijn. It looks like Larry Clark. It's just like he said, he was the only one taking color photos when nobody was doing it. I'm telling you, I looked at your website. I got moved today by the photographs and just the words. I brought it on stage with me. I was going to read the words from his website. I teared up,
There you go.
right?
Okay.
I swear to God. And none of it goes into what I just told you. So what I gave you was a template of something you might want to use, and then here comes this sucker, and just like, no way. Of course I'm calling in those people.
But this is really nice of you to say. I also attract those people.
Right,
You know?
the fringy people that don't want to
and I don't work.
listen to everybody.
I'm not like working every day. You know what I mean? So I make a choice. I get to shoot what I like to shoot. I attract the people that want that. I have some clients using black and white headshots, and they get called in because it's cool looking.
And I respond to that ethos.
You know?
I'm 16 years into being a casting director, 14 as a teacher. I don't have a website because I know you'll find me. Because the right people will find me. You know what I mean? And that's what he's on to too. I mean, everybody here takes a great photograph, but don't be afraid of like, I don't see headshots on his website. And I'd say, go get a headshot by him. Okay, and any one of these people.
Well, I'd like to take this into the next portion where we are going to pull up some headshots. It was open to, you could submit your headshot and we can pull up and talk about them. We're not going to go through everyone that has submitted a headshot, but as we do, we're going to talk about the things that work or maybe what could make them better.
I'll show you my headshot. I brought it. Just so, I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
You know, all right. So I'll hand it off to you guys if you have an instant thought or something you'd like to.
I have a thought. I really like this headshot.
I really like it too.
Great, tell us why.
For me, don't hide anything. Show me your lines, you know. It's really comfortable. I really want you to be in the midst of performance. You know, not in a gimmicky way, not in a shticky way, but he looks like he just listened to something his grandson said or something like that. Now, again, I wish that there was more contrast between his skin and the background. I wish there was more depth, giving it 3D, but it's an exceptional capturing of who that man is.
Yeah, from a photography just standpoint, it's a little washed out and overlit a little bit, but
Imagine it that size.
But he looks like lovely. I mean,
calling him
it's
in,
very
for sure.
warm and kind, and I get a feeling from it. I like it a lot. It's not, doesn't pop as much as I would like. I don't know what color his eyes are, which I think is a problem, but I like what's going on in it.
Yeah, his eyes are great. It would be nice if there was more light in them, but it's very soulful and vulnerable. This is not a guy who's taking a headshot worried about what his hair looks like or what his smile is. Like, he's in the moment.
He's in a Viagra commercial. I know, I've cast them.
He was the star of your commercial.
Not mine, but he's a virile man. I can tell that he likes wood.
This is not a headshot to me. It's like her friend took it sitting out to dinner somewhere. She looks a little closed off. It doesn't look like an actor to me. If you told me it was someone's mom, I'd be like, yeah, it's someone's mom, but it doesn't look like an actor. There's a lot of space. It just looks like a snapshot. It's kind of the difference between a headshot and a snapshot, and this is definitely a snapshot. It looks like it was taken at night. It's really bizarre.
And just, you know, with things like this, let's be honest, it's not a headshot. I mean, no matter, it doesn't mean that that woman can't work, but best foot forward, guys. You know, and just like, you know, you guys were talking about, look at our types. We're so defined up here. We should be like a team of super, like, I don't know, villains or something. Like really nerdy villains, I understand that. But like, you know, like as I came here tonight, I'm thinking, you know, I'm gonna wear the boots and not the fancy shoes because I don't want them to think I'm an agent, which is a different kind of douchebag, right? Right? So, like, those are instant reads to you. Like, boots, not as douchey as an agent, just a little left of that douchey.
I mean, she's got this great commercial smile, but it's not framed properly. You know, I think she's a lovely type, but it's too far away, I think, in that small little...
And don't take a picture of a woman coming up at her like that, you know. Men are more appealing when you see us at our chin up or a squared chin, but women, from pharmacology standpoint, not exactly a headshot standpoint, are better when they're in kind of a demurring way.
And the black sheet with like the seam behind her and stuff. It's just, yeah.
Now in casting, you know, do you see, if you see a photo that's not as professional as other ones, are you hesitant to call that actor in? Or just if she was submitted for the right part, does that matter to you?
Go ahead, Lindsey.
It's just hard to, I think this goes back to what you were saying, it's hard to imagine that person in a movie when you're just looking at a regular picture of somebody. I'm not saying this specifically, but when a headshot comes and it's not professional, it's just hard to make that leap in your own mind, even though when you see everyone in person, everybody is on the same playing field, but it's
she looks green. I mean, it's just, let's call a spade a spade. She looks green, and you might not call her in for that. And if this woman has a resume a mile long, that's a big shame, because it doesn't look like that. She's not at the party yet with that headshot picture.
If I were to just say, even if we were to take this picture itself, this is way too far away. I think that if you just zoomed this picture in, it's not a terrible picture of this woman. It's just a headshot should never be that far away or cut somebody off there necessarily. I mean, you might be doing a farther away headshot purposely, but you wouldn't want to be in the middle of the frame like that, cut off there.
Yeah, you can see the cropping of her arm is not flattering.
Space above her head.
And these are all the things that these guys correct for you. Okay, the other thing, in looking at their websites, all of them take pictures of redheads really well. Okay, I hear that's a big problem out there in headshotdom, and these guys take really...
It's the worst.
Seriously, sensational pictures of redheads, every single one of them. Every single one of them. And the other thing I like about all three of them is they really have their own style. You know, I picked my photographer, and you can come see me after and see who it is, for her style, you know, and because I saw performance in her pictures. So, okay. Handsome man, so castable it's ridiculous. His eyes are like a husky, and that's not a headshot, it's a passport photo.
Yeah, and I also think like he is a leading man, and should. So if we're talking about which lawyer are you, he makes a lot of money, and that's not that shirt isn't right, you know, and it's washing him out
And the backdrop that was married with that would make him look like he has more power, more money, sleeping with the hotter co-star, or whatever, you know. Really good-looking guy. I see a performance in his eyes, but it's not a headshot, and what a shame. I mean, that guy is castable.
And you shouldn't have a shadow behind your head in a headshot. Yeah. Like if you even are, if it is a simple background, you should there should never be a shadow. That's just not a good photograph.
Even when you come into casting, unless we place you right against the wall, move away from that wall, because it does distorting things to you that you do not want to happen. I'd write that down. That's true.
What about framing? How do you approach framing a shot?
That's interesting. Framing is something that's really changed once online came along, because it depends on, when you're shooting a non-headshot, you always want to leave enough room to crop if they're going to put text in for something like that, right? And so with a headshot, for the longest time, we started cropping in camera, like this is the shot. And now with online, I want to punch way in sometimes and shoot something, but I know if they choose that shot and they crop it, then they're just ahead online. So I can't really shoot the way I want to shoot sometimes, because I know ultimately it's going to get cropped down to that square. That is an auto crop, right? You can't control that, can you?
No.
You can't.
No, you can't control it. In each casting site, like Breakdown Services in LA Casting and Casting for they all crop differently. And Breakdown Services actually crops into more of a square than a vertical. So you do need a little extra room on your headshot. Otherwise, when it crops into a square, you're going to be, you know, chin to forehead on the Breakdown Services site.
So we have to think about that when we're shooting it. So in a way, sometimes we're not necessarily communicating what we want to communicate in that moment with that in the back of our head as we're shooting it. I think everything should just be like here, come to the top of the head, little shoulder, and you're fine.
I love headshots that are just somebody's face, taking up the entire frame, but you're right, it's difficult when you
Can't shoot it that way.
Yeah, I mean, you can, and then you can hand it to the person in the room if you wanted, or your agent could use it to send in email pitches and stuff like that, but for things that you're putting online, it's a shame, but I really like the landscape ones. I know that.
Yeah, it sucks that the landscape were my favorite, and now we can't do it online. I mean, literally, this thing that was my favorite thing has gone away. And the other thing about him is just, again, I love the look, and I just think we're just going to gloss over him. We're not going to find him, I think. You know, I think we're going to find somebody else. You know, I'll throw a stone and hit another person just like him with a better backdrop.
It almost looks like this is a picture in a magazine.
Yeah, like he was on the red carpet or something.
Esquire, or like a picture in Esquire or something. Where
It's an on-camera flash.
That's why.
It's not a ring flash, it's an on-camera flash. And it's just, it's too much.
Yeah, 'cause you can see the light right in the middle of his
That guy's
iris.
good looking.
That's another thing that they just addressed. A lot of you guys are coming into your auditions or for your headshots looking like your favorite celebrities on the red carpet or in the magazine. And you want to look like them when they're actually human beings. You know, like the makeup is way, way too much. I can't tell you how many people I work for that tell me, will you tell these girls not to wear makeup? And nobody listens. You know, I had a job recently for Shell where the young women in their 20s supposed to be clerks, and the director told me, Chris, they look like Beverly Hills soccer moms because of all the makeup. They were all 20-something girls. You know, it was ridiculous. So.
That's why, can I just say, I think makeup for your headshots is important. It's important to hire someone and not do it yourself because they'll do it.
Men and women, everyone?
I think men not so much. For me, I think some men need it, but for the most part, they don't need it. But I think women do, and if you should know how to do a clean, fresh face that looks like a no makeup because you do need it for camera. They're going to put makeup on you when you get on set for the most part. I know commercials, sometimes they don't. But if you're like, oh, I don't like it when my makeup's done because I don't do it like that. It's like, well, then you need to learn to do it like that because that's more important than you do your crazy over makeup when you walk in the room and you don't look like your clean, fresh headshot. And I mean, I know that I work with makeup artists. I know Peter and I work with someone too, one of the same makeup artists, but that are on the same page as me, that know my lighting, that understand that it's about light and shadow and not about like, you know, crazy over bright red lipstick and that kind of thing. And I will fight girls a little bit on when they push for, oh, but I always wear a cat eye. I love a cat eye. I do a cat eye.
That's
and
so
a lot,
hard,
you know.
Isn't it, right?
And I'm like, I know, but let's not.
I'll back you up.
Let's not do it. Let's do it at the very end for like the last 5.
When you run out of time.
And the other thing, listen to your photographer. I got to tell you, the last headshots I got, I've never been happier with. Okay, this women I keep telling you about. But I'll tell you, in one of the headshots, she said, oh, but do you have a T-shirt that you want to wear under it? And I go, no, I normally wear it without a T-shirt. She was right. The headshot's amazing. The only thing wrong with it is the place where it should have a T-shirt like she told me. Why did I listen? I should have listened. Okay, so listen to them. Listen to them. They know what they're talking about.
I would just like to reiterate that and back you up on the cat eye. You don't have a cat eye in your headshots.
Yeah, eyeliner is a thing that, you know, is kind of a thing in headshots that girls have a certain way that they wear their eyeliner, and it can just look like too much makeup instantly. So I think just hiring a makeup person. Okay,
piggybacking off of what she just said, this is the perfect point, okay? I really like the expression on this girl's face, okay? I love the background. What happens with me when I'm looking at the pictures, you see the light flare in the background? That catches my eye because that's good photography on television, you know? Haskell Wexler did that for the first time in a movie, in Cool Hand Luke, and ever since then, we love to see that little thing happen. Now, her eyeliner under the eye, because this is a really good photographer with an exceptional skill with light, it's not too caked on. But I could see this in another photographer's hands where that's going to look caked on, and in casting where you come in from my video camera, which isn't as rad as these guys' cameras, that's going to look caked on. That underline draw, it's going to look really caked on in casting. But I love this photograph. I just wanted to make that point.
It's beautiful. I think it's a great photo with really good lighting, and it's just her. It's simple, and it just, I feel like that's very much what this person must look like.
It's my favorite kind of headshot. Yeah.
It looks, you can tell it's a headshot, but it doesn't go into that place where it's like, this is an actor having their picture taken. I actually can see this person in the role or playing a character. It's not an actor, a self-conscious actor.
She's not selling us anything.
Yeah, I really like that picture.
Now,
It's a good
after
picture.
all of the anxiety of the wardrobe, and we can't really see what she's wearing, does that matter?
I was going to say, I would like a little bit more, just a little more of her shirt, but I do get a sense of it. This is very girl next door, girl next door. I want girl next door. This is girl next door.
Yeah, and she's wearing like kind of a hippie shirt, you know, and it suits, I get, you know, like, I get the inference.
I like the flyaways.
Yeah,
I wouldn't correct.
me too,
I wouldn't
me too.
take those out. Like, I think people have a tendency to want to over Photoshop their photos, and I would keep those flyaways, because any other little correction you do, it looks like you haven't touched the photo, because it has those kind of little flyaway hairs. It's kind of sweet.
Yeah, I like that this doesn't feel too perfect. You know, like she's obviously beautiful and could have that like very fixed, perfect shot as well. But like this is, it's very real. It's very natural, and I get that. I get that note from a lot of agents and clients that, and some friends that work in commercial casting, that they want pictures that look more and more natural, like less made up, less made up. I think there was the last few years, a lot of women particularly had these gorgeous kind of beautiful glamour, full-on made-up shots, and I think we've gotten away from that.
We don't want them
again.
at all.
We don't want them again.
I mean, unless it's like, you know, you save those if, like, say it's a campaign and you're going in for a high-end vehicle or something like that, and you may use it, but very rarely. The other thing I love about this is it's exceptionally hard to get a brown-eyed person's eyes to gleam like that, you know, and I always look for that in people's photography.
As far as the eyes go, I like that much sparkle in an eye, but I do have some people say that they don't want that much light in someone's eyes in the photo. I disagree. I like it.
They don't like art, and it hurts their soul.
I would say, like, the exposure is she's a little washed out on her, you know, but it's such a sweet photo that you kind of forgive. That's one of those things where it's like, it doesn't really matter. It's like, she looks really sweet, and it's adorable.
You know, to address the brightness of it, I got to say that I'm constantly going up to my assistants and other people I work with and going to the computer and tapping the lightness button. And I'm like, you're looking at everybody too dark. So maybe that, I mean, everybody's got a couple steps darker than I want it. And maybe that helps a little bit. Just, yeah.
If this girl sends a shot to you, and do you think she's going to walk in and be that cute and pretty?
I do with her.
so.
I do with her, yeah.
This doesn't look, you can usually tell when somebody is masking something in a headshot. And I don't know if you all know this, but when you post your pictures on Breakdown, I think, or I'm assuming, that it keeps all your old pictures. So when I see a headshot that I'm curious about or wondering if that person really looks like that, I'll click on it and it'll show me some of their older pictures, and they look totally different. And so I feel like it's usually pretty transparent if somebody is
I do that all the
trying to
time, too.
mask
All the time.
something in their
Does this
headshot.
person click on the other one? Does it look like that?
Right.
I'll do that
I think
too.
somebody, just real quick about the last one, we were very nice and it was a wonderful headshot, but I think she could use a little bit of blush. That's
what I mean. I think it's I think the light is just
Oh,
washing her out a
yeah,
little.
maybe.
I don't think it's her makeup. I think it's just a little light.
That's probably what it is.
Like, I'm not sure her skin tone is, you know.
I'll continue on here. I think I don't like this headshot. I think it looks like something you might get at Sears or something like that. Nothing against Sears, but I wouldn't get a headshot there. I mean, this man looks very friendly. He has a great face, a great sort of warm quality to him, but this is not professional in the sense that we're talking.
Now, and I agree with everything she just said. It's, you know, it's flat out Sears picture. Now, that being said, he's got a very specific type, okay? And I really like it. And the thing is when I go looking for that type, that might be something a teeny bit endearing about him, especially like if I'm casting something that's like a one-liner, right? A one-liner, a two-liner. I'm like, well, maybe he's more that guy, and another one with a polished photograph might come in and act it, you know? He looks like he's selling something in Ohio, you know? And so if I'm casting, you know, Parks and Rec or something like that, or whatever, you know, that suits, it might be the perfect fit, but it's not going to get him a whole lot of work, for sure. And again, it's not a headshot.
Will you click on that as a thumbnail? Would you be able to tell from the thumbnail?
Yeah, with exactly the explanation I just gave. If I'm looking for that dude, like, that dude's coming in and we're partying. Totally.
I mean,
come on, look at him,
would
right?
I don't think I would end up clicking on it. Also, the shirt is, I mean, but I do see what you're saying. Sometimes you want that quality in someone that is just so real and grounded, but I think still, I wouldn't be drawn to this.
No, I mean, he's got such he's had great interesting features, but it still actually feels kind of non-specific to me. Like it's the gray polo shirt and it's kind of a wide crop and it's just a smile. I'm not exactly sure like where he fits into a role. I think it's just somebody that is kind of happily taking a photo.
Yeah, there's an authentic quality to him that comes through, but he does community theater or something, like that's what I think, but I just don't, you know, I think it takes more than that to get.
And, you know, most of the time, I'll look at actors' previous headshots if they're going to shoot, and they're great in the shot. Like his face is great. What he's doing, what he's giving is great. The photography is not good. So it's not all just like him, it's the photography. And so I find that a lot of times I'll meet with a client or talk to them, they'll send me their pictures, and I'll say, do exactly what you did in your last session. You look awesome, you hit it every step of the way. Now I'm just gonna light it better and you're gonna have better clothes and it's all gonna be great. Don't get down on your last session. Don't get heavy, you know, just do what you did.
Okay, with this one, colors are good. I think its trend has come and gone. I really, really, really don't like when the skin is the same color as the backdrop. I can't stand it, by the way. I also really hate when a photographer takes the picture of, you know, if a brunette against a dark backdrop. It makes them, there's no silhouette, and I need that right there. Also, it's oversold. It's not genuine like the girl that we loved, and her look is great. I mean, this girl books commercials, but not like that. That's booking commercials when Full House was on television before we had black presidents. Two-time
What color
black presidents.
background do you think would be better in this particular instance? And is that something the actors should be asking about as the photos are being taken?
Absolutely. I mean, I've already given my prejudice. I want it to be real. For me, it would be great if I've cast 1 million commercials like this, okay? For 3 years, I did all of the Swiffer commercials, you know, all the ones like Baby Come Back and You Blinded Me with Science. Thank you, Peter. All the ones with the songs on them. She's wearing Swiffer wardrobe, pretty close, especially Swiffer colors are purple and green, so wearing purple and green is huge. But I would love it to be like a Hancock Park looking wood background type of thing, so she looks like she's in a Sentiments commercial, a Febreze commercial, a Swiffer commercial, or if she was outdoors, she would look like she's Yogurt Girl or Noxzema Girl or OxyClear or something like that. But it's too much of a sell job for today. Pretty girl, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, this seems like a very commercial headshot, so I don't think this is something that I would normally be sent.
Yeah, she wouldn't even get this, you know.
But the hand on the hip to me is a little bit bothersome. I think, again, if I just zoomed in right on her face and she was smiling a little less big, I think she's beautiful. She's got a really warm look to her as a person, but this isn't really a headshot that someone would send me.
Yeah, I like her energy. It's just a little crazy. Like, it's just like the dial.
A little too much.
Yeah, like maybe the photo 3 before this one, just where she was kind of warming up to that, would be awesome. I don't know that this was just the eyes are just, it has a little intensity to it that for me it's.
And I'll tell you, the other thing is that, you want your headshot photographer to be able to direct you in moments like, what are you smiling about? You're smiling because you got this deal. You're smiling at your daughter. What are you smiling about? Like, or what are you serious about? Here's my serious shot in my suit. About what? Okay. Anybody?
I don't really approach it like that, Chris.
And I know, and that's why you guys need to do research for who you end up with. I'll tell you this, I've been an actor since I'm 7 years old, and I've never enjoyed the headshot process ever until I went to the last woman I went to, okay? I'm an actor. I don't want to be myself. I need you to take me into moments like I would be on the programs I need to be in. And if you can't do that, then I can't personally work with you, Well,
for me as the photographer, like it's just different. A different person in front of the camera works differently. You work that way, and that's the way I work with you. Some people, they're just hanging out, and we're laughing, and it's, as long as it's organic, as long as it's honest, then I think it works.
Well, I think what you addressed is that you're getting it out of them in a different way.
Right.
Yeah. Other people can stage a thing that's so groovy that we just feel natural. So it doesn't mean that it can't be accomplished, or it can only be accomplished the way I just described. So
Well, I had a
love that you said
photographer
that.
direct me once for headshots and start telling me to do a closing argument like I was in a courtroom. And it just was like, I don't know. So I got really just shut down. It's like the weirdest, and it didn't work for me. So sometimes when you throw scenarios or like people like give them, it's not right for
The
them.
problem with that is the direction. They gave you a direction to speak when they should have given you direction to react. Acting is listening, acting is reacting. We don't want you to be in the... He could have said something, you're reacting to this in the courtroom, and I bet you could have done it. Right?
Do you guys have other thoughts? Because taking headshots is awkward. It can be very awkward.
It's horrible.
It's uncomfortable.
It's a horrible experience unless they're good at it.
Working with an actor, can you feel the actors out? When you're photographing them to help ease them into being natural or being themselves.
Yeah, I find that if you can get the actor away from thinking about having their picture taken and more, what are they doing right now? And I don't talk much when I shoot. Sometimes I do. I massage it a little bit, and kind of, and like you were saying, just throw out a word. And when they hear that word, it hits something, boom, you shoot it. And it's more like that, but if you're in a look, and this is actually a really good picture. It's a little hot from the side, but, he's connected and doing his thing. It's very specific,
And is that something that can be, I don't know, is that color correction? Forgive my terms, I don't know. Or
it's a brightness thing. He's just lit from there, and it's a little low, and he's getting hit really hard with it. But that can be leveled out very easily.
He looks like a booker. He looks like he works.
Yeah.
He looks like a booker. He looks like, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to see a resume a mile long. I know I call in guys like this all day long, off of headshots like that.
And even if he doesn't have a resume a mile long, he
What a
looks
look, yeah.
he looks like he's established. And I think that's important too, is that shooting people that just got here who are super green, if we can make them look like they work, that's really our job, because we want we want them to call them in, right? Then they get in there, and then they got to deal with it. But our job is to get you out there.
That guy he didn't look like he was trying too hard.
He knew exactly
life
what it
too.
was.
This dude's lived life.
And
whatever, just shoot me.
Every single every single channel has a show that this guy appears on, right? That's what we're looking for. What show are you chasing? Oh my God, this guy's on television every night. Okay. Okay, this is another one, and again, this look books like crazy in commercials. There's FedEx campaign right now with a woman exactly like this, but again, it's not a headshot, so you're gonna look green. and we might pass you over for somebody we think is more of a pro.
I think this headshot is fine. I don't have a huge problem with it, but it's not something that necessarily pops out. It looks a little bit commercial to me. It's maybe trying to ride the line between theatrical and commercial. I wish she was over to the side a little more. But I don't think it looks unprofessional. It just doesn't necessarily say too much to me.
I wouldn't remember it.
Yeah, it's not a memorable
The colors also look a little off or muted or cool. You know, for such like a warm smile and a warm person, I feel like it's a little dull and like in terms of color.
And it's all the photography. It's not the person. It's all the photography, not the person.
And you don't see the photographer's hand on it. You know, sometimes in photography you'll see like a really heavy hand. I can get a little heavy-handed sometimes.
I like it,
I admit.
Peter.
But I try not to, but it seems to work. But I do like when I can see, oh, you know what, the photographer didn't have a hand in this, but I think the photographer didn't have a hand in it because the photographer doesn't have a hand to put on it. So, but I think that's a legit thing when you're looking for your photographer. Choose their vibe and their style because they're gonna it's their art and they're gonna shoot. You know, are headshots art? No, I don't know. But if they're artists, they can't divorce themselves from that when they're shooting your picture. So just find the person that you feel most comfortable with. That's actually a pretty good shot, but it's white on white and it's all white all day long.
Yeah, it's washout. It's a complete washout, and it's a shame because in those eyes is so much kindness. It's so Chevy, you know, Jeep, you know. But he's going to get lost. I mean, again, this small out of 5,000 sometimes. It just, I mean, anything could have been, I mean, he's got a great face. How did the photographer get away with
even
taking
good on
it,
this.
you know?
When an actor's choosing their photos, who do you suggest should help them pick their photos?
Not their mom.
Not their mom.
Not their mom, and not the actor. You can hire me for a solo lesson. I'll go through every friggin' one. But you know, it's your agent. Here's what you have to know, okay? You guys are a commodity, and you're a commodity on the shelf, and just like quick buy items in the supermarket, your agent is the one who's going to facilitate your brand getting out there. And if there's a chasm between what you think and what your agent thinks, you need to address that or move on. That's never going to work. And I'll tell you this, okay? This is going to be the most important thing I say to you tonight. This phrase, I want you to lose this phrase from your vocabulary. My agent's not sending me out. Guys, it is not your agent's job to send you out. It is your agent's job to submit you to douchebags like me. And if you're not getting pulled in, then it's probably your headshot. Because why on God's green earth would they keep you on a roster? They don't make money unless you make money. Why on earth would they not be submitting you? That makes absolutely no sense at all. You're not getting called in. They're submitting you. And there's a problem with what you've done. Okay? Lose that from your vocabulary. It's so unattractive, and it's the most common phrase I hear from actors.
And it's also, I feel too, that sometimes you might have a great headshot and you're not getting called in. It's also not the headshot. I don't think the agents should say your headshots are not getting you in. That could be true sometimes. Sometimes the agent just doesn't have the juice to get you in the room. But also, I feel like it just might not be that time, you know? It just doesn't match up at that moment. So sometimes it's just patience.
Do you get phone calls like that? My headshot's not getting me in.
Absolutely. And I look at it and I say, that's actually a really great headshot. What do you want to shoot?
Yeah.
What can I do to make, I don't know, you know?
I like this lady.
I like this lady very much. I would call her in for sure. I did a Swiffer commercial where the lady's on the park bench and does the crosstown bus stop here? And then the mop went.
like to just call her and have
Yeah.
And what do you
some
like
tea
about
with
the
her.
photo?
She's not hiding anything. It's all personality. I wish it was a real background, like I'm gonna say all night long. But I love her face.
I love her
love her face.
makeup too. It's very fresh
Mhm.
and light and pretty, but it's not overdone.
Very natural.
When we talked about clothing and texture before, and this is kind of a great example of that, like it's great texture, it's not distracting. I still am drawn to her face, but this kind of texture of the clothing is very specific to who she would actually play on a show.
This looks very modern to me too, and a lot of times you see more mature women or men don't have very modern headshots, so that's what makes this really striking to me.
That's a really great point. That's a really good point. That's true.
I shot this photo.
How about that? There you go.
That's
there you go.
the greatest photo I've ever
I didn't
seen
know
in my
that it was.
life. It's actually
I'm
really
so
good.
glad
It's
y'all
really
like
good.
it.
I'm glad we didn't bash it.
She was on The Office. She works a lot.
Yeah, she works a lot. I know her. She works a lot. I have your pictures here. I studied all you guys' pictures.
We're gonna do one or two more, and then I do want
I
to
know
do
that
some
guy.
audience questions.
I've seen that headshot before. I know this guy, and I know. I think I've told him all these same things. I think it captures his essence. I think that the photographer could have had better lighting. It has enough depth to pop out. I think the photographer could have done something better with his skin tones. But hey, Blue Eyes, it doesn't take much, I mean. He's pretty handsome. If I'm doing Pepsi or something like that, he seems perfect for it.
I don't like men in those kind of low V-necks.
I don't like a low
for
V-neck
me.
either.
Like that, it bothers me. So I can never get past.
Yeah, I said that I don't like the skin tone. She just went ahead and said we can eliminate that by having a smaller V-neck. And I agree. So.
Yeah, it's when we talked about wardrobe, we said like watch a lot of TV, watch a lot of commercials. Don't fast forward through the commercials, and you really don't see guys in television shows and commercials wearing a low V-neck like that.
L.A. and Miami.
Yeah, it's a great beach shirt, but it's not what you would.
Now,
it's not what wardrobe would put you in on the show.
Instance, he does appear a little sunburned. Is this a time where you might recommend makeup for a guy, or does that have to do with lighting?
You can pull the red out in post.
Yeah.
I think the background's a lot like his hair, like that kind of. I don't love.
Well, let me put it to you this way. This guy is good looking and castable, and god damn it, if he just had one of these three take the picture, he'd get seen better. And the photographer that I recommend that I took my picture with.
I would actually not be good for that guy.
Oh, I love that. Now why do you say that?
I feel like that is his type, and I don't do that super well. He's not dark enough, maybe. But I've shot really bright, lovable guys. They're just a bit more rugged, and they're.
If you shot him, he'd look like he's on Carnival.
He would.
Right.
Well,
right?
you know what?
You would put him on a different
afraid.
show, like
I would totally be afraid that I would deliver something outside of where his sweet spot is.
I love that, and I tell you, in reading his website, I responded to his ethos. I love when somebody goes, "That's not what I do. I do this thing over here." Robert Altman used to say, "I don't make movies. I do something else. I make shoes. They do something else." I love that. I love that comment.
I did want to do one more. There it is. And then we have a couple audience questions.
Love it. Anybody?
I think this is
quirky.
I think it's really cute.
Now she has a lot of body in this.
Yeah,
is
and
that
I
too
normally
much?
like just the face with the hair right in there. But I think it's really cute. I wouldn't recommend this being her only headshot, and it does look pretty commercial. But I think it's an adorable shot, and I don't know. I mean, everybody has to have something with their body in it, in addition to a close shot. And I think this is a good sort of, you can see what her shape is, and I don't know, she just seems very authentic. I don't think it's something that somebody would necessarily send me, though, unfortunately.
It all works together, like her outfit, and flat background in this case is pretty good. Her makeup is a lot. In the earrings, it's a lot, but in the dress, but it all works together because she's saying like something, or she's laughing at something, or so the whole thing works.
Well, I think too, because her dress is busy.
I don't love it.
The background
it's not
is
my thing,
clean.
but it works.
It works for the character
It
that she's
balances as a
portraying.
photo.
Yeah, it just kind of.
And I was going to try to show you an example from Rob's site, but I saw it on Rob and Joanna's site. If you're going to go, one color in the background, I do find it quite appealing, this almost like Warhol one color, and the colors that I'm responding to lately, and I think this is a trend right now, is green and lavender, and on your site, I think the actress name is Kim, an Asian woman. There's kind of like a dusty rose behind her. I think that works like crazy. It kind of looks like the Glee campaigns. It kind of looks like all the photos of the cover of Backstage West last year when they launched the magazine. So even just a little bit of color and then lit for depth would change everything about that photo. But I really like this woman, and if I had a job for her, I'd call her in.
I agree with you about the you said something about the makeup? I think you're right. It is too much makeup because it's such a in the moment look that it's like we're just catching her in her kitchen or something, and I think that there's too much makeup. You're right, a nice natural look. Like her hair is even like sort of free-flowing.
I like the makeup because it's like that woman wears that much makeup in her kitchen. And you're like, oh my God. Like, yeah, she's like, I'm going to make some pancakes this morning. She's just like, yeah, that's what I like. It's so like,
Yeah, it's believable, right?
Yeah,
That's
believable.
what it all is. Like, is your headshot
Totally.
believable? Does it make sense?
It's believable for this girl.
For this person, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And
Awesome.
it also really has that
About the
quirky
white
essence, and I have a lot of actors always want like the quirky picture, and she brings that essence. Like it's not something that is your picture is just not quirky. It's you that's quirky.
It's a performance, yeah.
Yeah, it's a real performance kind of aspect, and it's not just what you wear that makes you quirky. It's kind of how you behave, and I think
Do you
this is
think
a perfect
there's
example of that.
a standard number of looks actors need to have when getting their shots done? I mean, you have your theatrical, your commercial. How many different types of commercial do you?
I would probably say, if I were an actor, knowing what I know, I wouldn't have that many headshots because I would only have headshots out there that I'm 100% happy with. I wouldn't have my top 5 headshots in order of preference. I'd have 5 headshots that I'm 100% happy with every single one, because the minute somebody sees one that is not as good as the other 4, they're going to assume the worst, because that's the one they're going to end up seeing. So it's not so much if you can have a million headshots, if you have a million amazing headshots, but I think it's better to have 2 amazing headshots than 2 amazing headshots and 3 pretty good headshots.
It's the Daniel Day-Lewis. Control your brand. Don't show too much. I think on IMDb, it's really cool if you're at a red carpet event or something and that's on your IMDb, but if someone sends me a photo and I see it, I look at it, I go to their IMDb, I look through and I see them at some film festival and I'm like, that's what they really look like. And I think it is your brand, control it, control the Facebook, man, because there's people are shooting you and that's your business, that's your brand, and you're out there and,
Really
man, it's
insider
your thing.
point.
It's like, just control it. We're all companies, right? Each and every one of us is our own company. We have our own brand. We have to protect our brand, especially now. Everyone is recording and snapping and taking. No one should ever take your photo without your permission as an actor. That's my opinion. But I agree, less is more. It's more mysterious. I like that.
And as a casting director, I really think that it can be achieved in 3 or 4 uber go-to looks, just what are the 3 or 4 things you're chasing 3 or 4. Now, when I see just 2, unless they're really amazing, I sometimes feel like you're kind of not trying, but like it can be done fairly economical. So.
Before, we're going to wrap up in a moment, but there was a few questions from the audience. Martin had a good one, and he was wondering, should we ask photographers about what lens is used?
Only if you understand what that means. I have people like, well, ask Mountain if you get this question, oh, well, will you give me the raw files? I'm like, no, because
what are you going to do with them?
yeah, you can't open them, and it will keep all kinds of discs, and no, and the work's not done yet. You know, it's like, I'm not giving you the food before I stick it in the oven.
It's our negative, really.
Yeah.
Now digital raws are negative, and I had someone the other day ask me, matter of fact, 2 days ago, can I have the raws? And he knows what he's doing in Photoshop and Capture One and all that. He could take those raws and he could really do something with them. Yeah, that's not my work though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's going to take it now and do something with it, and that's going to get funky, and then that's out there with my name on it. So that's also, we protect ourselves. Lens choice, I have some actors that are into photography and we talk photography, but that would be a really weird question.
I mean, ask if you know if you understand what it is you're asking, you know, then sure.
Totally.
I'll
I think
tell
that goes for everything.
Totally.
Here's someone, I don't live in a major city, and the photographers don't have experience taking headshots. What advice would you have for those photographers or an actor that might not have access to a city full of headshot photographers?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, if their plan is to stay and to work in that city, then find someone close by or find someone that, you know, each city sort of has a different style of headshots. Like if you work in New York, your headshot generally looks a little bit different than if you work in LA. And I actually have this one agency in Dallas that sends me a lot of people, and they actually fly out here. But the people that do that are people who are planning on moving to LA within 6 months or a year. And I would probably say that that's a good idea. Like if your goal is to move out here in a short amount of time, then shoot with someone who's based out here, because you're going to end up reshooting when you move.
Yeah.
If you're stuck in your small market, I recommend looking at headshots in the market that you want to work, or say, look at what Los Angeles headshots look like, and then look at photographers in your area that do that, you know, that have that style, and you could take that and show them, like, this is kind of what I want, like, in a nice way, and, you know, maybe work with them to get a closer shot to what it is. But yeah, you want to have headshots in the market that you want to work in.
You could possibly look, if there are no headshot photographers in your area, you could look at some wedding photographers take beautiful portraits of brides and grooms and stuff like that. You know, that's different, but if they sort of had the essence of what you're looking for, if you took some examples of what you liked and compared them, then they might be able to do a solid job.
And finally, in a sentence or so, what is your advice that you can give actors getting headshots, whether it's the first time, whether it's the 100th time, that they can like take away knowing I've gotten a professional headshot, or I know I feel confident with this product?
You got to fight the powers that be.
I mean, I always tell people, like, do your homework, do all your preparation, everything that you can do on your end, everything that's your responsibility, do that. Then come to the shoot and let it all go, and trust that we're working together, that you can kind of play and be present during your session, and kind of have an open mind and open heart. Just trust, a little trust. Some people are so controlling, and then they come and they've such an idea in their head of what their smile looks like and what their pose is and how their head, that like all that spontaneity, everything is out the window. So do your work before, then come and then let go and let it, you know, let it be kind of a scene. I always say it's like a scene with you and me, and then the camera's kind of in the middle.
Okay, I'm just going to go back to shoot us like a sniper and not with a shotgun. Don't be afraid to go for one great thing that you belong on. Don't try to book every job in this town with your headshot. Go for where they're looking for you and try to achieve that in the headshot. So,
I think research and have a deep understanding that this is a tool. It's like a hammer, it's a wrench, it is what it is. It's not the cover of Vanity Fair. Know what you need to build with this tool. So after you do your research, really understand what each look is its own tool, right? So then what are you building with that tool, this tool, and don't stretch. You can't have the giant toolbox. 4 tools, 5 tools, own it, right? And then discuss that with your photographer, and when you shoot, trust and let your photographer do their thing, because if you trust them and you hire them, they probably do it really well, and let them do their thing, and it'll work.
I will agree with the research. Watch a lot of TV, watch a lot of commercials, know who you are and what you play on those shows. And then when you get to your photo shoot, be an actor. Quit worrying about what your hair looks like and what your makeup looks like and what you're wearing. Like, once we've got all of that set, just enjoy. It's a great opportunity to act. Have a couple of really fun hours acting.
Sorry. Yeah. One more thing. I don't show actors usually the back of the camera to show them their shots while we're shooting, because I know they're just going to look at their hair. Yeah. So I just wanted to jump on that. Yeah. Sorry. That's part of my other sentence.
I think first, research photographers. After you decide who you are and all the research you do to go into it, before you go to decide to take headshots, research your photographers, decide what kind of look you want, and then trust them and be sincere in your photo, because like we said, some of these people, they're completely castable. They're real people. They have warm faces, but maybe their headshot didn't do them justice, and that's the last thing that you want. So the photographer is really important, because you both have to bring that to the table. Otherwise, if you're a great photographer and you're not being sincere in your shots and you're not stripping it all away and you're worried about your hair or smiling really big or you're stiff, then you're not doing your part. And if your photographer is not professional or somebody who's going to match what you're bringing to the table, then they're not doing their part. So choose your photographer, somebody whose looks you respect and like and trust, and then just trust them and don't worry about them. Worry about acting in your headshot. Just be sincere. That first picture just sticks out in my mind, that guy who just had that really, you could just look into his soul, and that's the kind of headshot you want. It's just something where people don't see that you're masking something, and you're just
So
being
go
very
find yourselves,
genuine.
know who you are, and get your amazing headshots. I want to thank you all for coming again. Please join me in thanking.
Thank you all.
Thank you.